Alright, so this is We the People News one more time, okay? This video is without prejudice and without recourse, okay? Not an attorney, not giving legal advice. Anything I say or do is just opinion only, okay? What else am I going to say? I never look straight forward. I always look around, be able to protect myself by any means necessary. There we go again, y'all. This is the last part of it, but it's best for last, okay? It goes in a little bit more depth. The first two videos kind of beginning process of what she's talking about through this and this and this. So if you made it this far, congratulations. You're going to actually learn a little bit more that may or may not benefit you, okay? Let's go.
You don't even have to say affidavit. I like to use sworn statement in the form of an affidavit. And then I start off, my name is, and I do upper and lower, not all caps name. And then I say who I am. I'm a living woman, living Texian American national. I always add a long label there. Why? Because we have the right to self-identify. 8 USC 1101, A 21 and 23 says that we get to claim whatever status we want.
8 USC what?
8 USC 1101, A 21 and 23. We have a right to self-determination. That's underneath the Aliens and Nationalities Act.
1101A.
A
21.
21
21.
and 23. So we have a right to self-determination. And then go through your affidavit of facts. Have as many dates, times, and places of the events as you like. Can I give you an example so you know if you're writing an affidavit of truth, how to do it? Let's use an egregious situation. I'm just using this factually. It's got to be facts. It cannot be about your emotions. Okay? And you don't want to put in your affidavit a lot of non-essentials. Okay? You say on February 21st, I was driving down 183. It was 1:30 in the morning. I was pulled over with lights shining behind my car. I recognized it must be some emergency vehicle, so I pulled over. A man in a uniform with a badge on his shirt asked me to identify myself. You can go into your store, and when I asked him what the emergency was, he wouldn't tell me. And I asked him to please tell me what's the emergency. And he refused, and he pulled a gun out and compelled me against my consent. Very hard to add that kind of language. It's all about consent to govern, right? That's in your Constitution. You see, we live in a free will universe. And if it's against your consent, they don't have the authority. It's not with the consent of the governor. So, against my consent, I'm just using this as a scenario. This did not happen to me, just so you don't know. I'm using it as an example.
I'm going to just pause there for a second. Remember what I say. All government document is your consent and always benefits them. Very rarely does it benefit you. And they don't never write these things in precise, direct orders. It makes it sound like it does benefit you. Remember when you took a driving test, right? There's 3 or 4 answers there, but they all seemed correct. But there's one particular one they wanted, not what you wanted, but what they wanted, but they all seemed correct. All paperwork is directed by attorneys, which is always misleading to you.
And as I step out of the car and being compelled at the gunpoint to step out of my car, he continued to strip me down with his hands and touch me in places that only my husband touches me. Okay, you get the point. You're putting that stuff in your affidavit of truth, and I told him, don't touch me there. That's my private area. He continued. You get my point. You're pleading facts. facts showing a sexual molestation on the side of the road. This stuff happens. Then he searched my car and out of my car, and I told him, you don't have my permission to search my car. You want to add that kind of language. Because if you say nothing, then you have acquiesced. So you have got to know how to deal with law enforcement before you deal with law enforcement. You have to tell them, you do not have my permission. You don't have my permission to touch me. You don't have my permission to search my car. Stay away from my car. If you want to search my car, we must follow proper procedure. Go get a warrant, and that warrant better be a perfected warrant. It better be signed by a judge, and it better have what in it? The items to be seized, place to be searched, and be sworn under penalty of perjury what you think you're going to find in my car. And I need a wet signature from a judge, because we're going to play by the rules today, officer. You have to know how to say that in a very gracious way. Do it with a smile. By the way, I'll wait right here till you get back from waking this judge up at 1:30 in the morning when he's sleeping in bed in his cozy 1,000 thread count sheets with his wife, and wake him up in the middle of the night because you think you're going to find something in my car. Meantime, when you get back, I'll have my attorney supervise your search. Or my counsel, don't say attorney, because gosh, I'll show up to you at 1:30 in the morning and I'll watch that police officer. I'll watch him myself. Bonnie, come on out. So you put all this stuff in your plate, right? And then you sign at the bottom. I promise that all these facts herein are true and correct under penalty of perjury. Sign it, have two witnesses sign it, or you can have a bridge of a Texas licensed notary sign it. You can send that via certified or registered mail. I highly recommend registered. It's a little bit more money, but it shows chain of custody. They can never deny that they got it. That affidavit of truth, if it goes unrebutted, is entitled to a judgment as a matter of law. That's a maximum law.
And 30 days with non-rebutted, it's taken as
The best procedure to do is you're going to send that affidavit 3 times, and you're going to give them each time an opportunity to rebut those facts. And when they don't, because they never do, you take it into federal court under summary judgment and ask for a judgment as a matter of law, and you are entitled to this amount as far as you get to list your injury award. What was that molestation or caught you on the side of the road with cars passing by and your dress is lifted up and your lady parts are hanging? You get my point. I'm not trying to gross anybody out, but this stuff happens.
That's disgusting.
It is. It is. Yes, Darren.
Before you wrap it up, why don't you also tell people about our meeting coming up, Republic of Texas meeting?
Yes. Yes. So I thank you. I will. So affidavit of truth, you're going to say on a cover sheet, by the way, here's an affidavit of truth. I need you to rebut these facts within 30 days. If you don't, I'm entitled to a judgment as a matter of law. Sign it. Put it in the registered mail. I'd send it to the county. I send it to the county sheriff. If it was a police officer or a sheriff's deputy, it's different jurisdiction there. But, there's different protocol. Usually the county sheriff is going to happen on your highways, your state lands and buildings, and your federal lands and buildings. And the city police officers are going to be held accountable by the city and the mayor and so forth. So you can send those affidavits of truth. You can create 4 or 5 of them. Send us whoever you're going to bring into this lawsuit. Definitely bring the county in, because this is a county agent. Whether they're working for the sheriff or the police department, they are county employees. So I would definitely put the county on notice, do this affidavit of truth, give them 30 days to rebut it. When they don't, send them a second letter. Second notice opportunity to cure would be your cover letter. Please rebut these facts within 15 days or I'm entitled to a judgment as a matter of law. When they don't rebut it, send them a third notice opportunity to cure. You have 7 days to rebut these facts or I'm entitled to a judgment as a matter of law. The 4th letter you're going to send, and I would send the affidavit of truth each time. Again, if you're sending it to 5 people, whomever you're bringing into the lawsuit, whether it's the county official, the DA, the sheriff, you know, the mayor, the city, whatever, whoever's on your list of people that are gonna be dragged into a lawsuit, send them the affidavit each time, that cover letter, ask them to rebut it. Do not tweak your affidavit, have the original affidavit copied multiple times and have it ready to go, so on that seventh day that you're asking them to rebut it and they don't, send them a notice of default. And then have them all served with process, and take them into federal court on 42 U.S.C. 1983 to enforce your restitution, your injury award, which is codified in Texas Constitution Article 1, Section 30 through 33. Is you've been a victim of a crime. If they searched you and seized you without a warrant, or confined you, punished you without a trial, you're entitled to an injury and restitution. So that's how you hold court outside of court, and that's how you win on summary judgment, because you can prove that, of course, when you get those green cards back, keep them, photocopy them, you can take all that in the court as evidence that you did your due process outside of court. You're just here because these facts have gone unrebutted, and you're entitled to a judgment as a matter of law, and that's a maximum law. Take them into federal court on summary judgment, 42 U.S.C. 1983. Enforcing your constitutional claim, your entitlement to restitution. Because that's First Amendment, isn't it? And Article 1, Section 27 of your Texas Bill of Rights. And have that stuff memorized. Because again, whether you're dealing with face-to-face in a courtroom, you got to know it better than that judge does. You got to know it better than that attorney does, because you also need to know how to write. It's not hard to memorize. Especially if you go over it a few times, it gets in there, right? We at the Republic of Texas, we're doing some very exciting things. And one is we're holding common law courts. We're rendering judgments. We have in the mix right now a plan to train de facto TCOL agents and to have them switch over to our side. Because we do need law enforcement. We need them to enforce our common law court judgments. We have people that there are trust funds available to us to restore the real du jour Republican form of government in the form of trillions. So if we can pay these TCOL agents that right now are uneducated, they're policy enforcers, they're extortionists, and they're following codes and statutes which are not law, and they're enforcing things they shouldn't be enforcing because it's a racketeering operation going on. And there's many people that really operate from a good heart, but they're just not properly trained. So we have somebody that we want to bring into the RT, and there's a bill I believe is going to be talked about this weekend about training law enforcement, having them switch gears, move over to our side. We're happy to pay them more, but there's going to be a higher accountability. If they injure the people, my people, which is all of us, right? You're created in the image of God, you're my people. I will protect you. I would die for you. I would stand up and take everything just for you to make sure that you're free. So freer you are, the freer I am. And I'm in this fight. And I may have to sacrifice and lay down my own life to defend one of you. And I will do it. I have no problem with that. I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. And I've made that commitment to you and to God. But we're doing amazing things. We have very intelligent, very smart people like Glenn. He's one of our Republic of Texas guys. And Frank has been attending our meetings and become a Republic of Texas guy, and many others, Darren, many others. We've got a great group of people that love liberty and stand firm for the truth and know how to navigate through the fraud system and teach and train people. I'm not paid to come here today. I do this because it's what I love. And we have a lot of states that want to be where Texas is. Because you know what? If Texas fails, then our mission is setting people free, the rest of the states fail too. So they're all looking at us. We have liberty lovers in Missouri and Pennsylvania and Oregon and California that are looking at us going, you Texans carry it. We can't. We're not where you are. We have already prevailed in 1995 in a lawsuit that went to the Texas Supreme Court versus, it was the state of Texas versus Republic of Texas. And we won because their opinion was they do not have jurisdiction over the Republic of Texas. Why is that? Because we're not a part of their corporation. We prevailed in a Texas Supreme Court decision that they do not have jurisdiction over the Republic of Texas. There's power in that. Because when you say I'm a Texian, I'm not one of your slave class 14th Amendment citizens of the corporation. You understand? I'm not an employee of your corporation. When they get you to check off yes on that job application that you're a U.S. citizen, you don't realize what you're saying. You're saying, I live in Washington, D.C. Do you? Or you live here in Dallas or Fort Worth?
And I believe under Title 18 USC 911, that's the reason why you cannot, makes it a felony that you cannot claim you are a U.S. citizen because you do not reside in Washington, D.C. Now, that being said, I don't know. I just know it's a felony. I'm going to have to relook at that again.
So we have to know how to fill out applications, and we have to be very careful because a lot of times when we check yes off to U.S. citizen, we're saying that we will obey the 1 billion codes and statutes which are not law. Per Self versus Ray, U.S. Supreme Court decision, it says codes and statutes are not law, right? They are corporate bylaws. Think about going to work for Walmart, they hand you an employee manual, right?
Corporate bypass laws. That's what I call it. It's a bypass law, y'all, to waive your rights.
Same thing. So my time is up. It's great to meet all of you.
All right. So this is Diesel We the People News. Till next time. Bye, y'all.